Hey everybody, I'm in Georgetown, South Carolina, and now I am at the American Legion Post 114 Veterans of Foreign Wars Georgetown Veterans Memorial. So I'm going to walk around and see what's here, and I'm going to take you on the journey. Okay, this is the sign that shows that we're at the American Legion Georgetown Veterans Memorial. This one says, all that we had, we gave, and that was ours to give. Freely surrendered all that you in peace might live. And this is the Revolutionary War here. And it says, the American spirit, George Washington, 1732 to 1799, was commander-in-chief of the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War, which lasted from 1775 to 1783, and served 2 terms as the first U.S. president from 1789 to 1797. As General Washington, during the war, he led colonial forces to victory over the British and became a national hero. He handed down a legacy of strength, integrity, and national purpose. This right here is for the war between the states, and it says the Battle of Gettysburg was the most pivotal battle of the war. The third day of battle depicted here, known as Pickett's Charge, led by Confederate General George Pickett, was on July 4th, 1863. The casualties were staggering. General Lee lost 28,000 of his 75,000 Confederate soldiers, and the Union losses stood at 22,000. Lee was forced to withdraw his troops back to Virginia. This right here is for World War I, which lasted from 1917 to 1918. And it says Edward Vernon Rickenbacker, from October 8, 1890 to July 23, 1973, was an American fighter ace in World War I and Medal of Honor recipient. With 26 aerial victories, he was America's most successful fighter ace in the war. This one is from World War II, which lasted from 1941 to 1945. And it says, duty, honor, and courage. The Battle of Iwo Jima from the 19th of February through the 26th of March 1945 was a major battle in which the U.S. Marines landed on and eventually captured the island of Iwo Jima from the Japanese Imperial Army during World War II. The 5-week battle involved some of the fiercest and bloodiest fighting of the war in the Pacific in World War II. This is for the Korean War, which lasted from 1950 to 1953. This says, no man left behind. The Korean War started when North Korea crossed over the 38th parallel and invaded South Korea on June 25, 1950. Pork Chop Hill, depicted here, named after its appearance on a map, is a 990-foot ridge that was recaptured in May 1952 by the U.S. 180th Infantry Regiment. U.S. casualties were 258 with 1,036 wounded, and Chinese casualties were estimated at 1,500 with 4,000 wounded. Less than 3 weeks after the Battle of Pork Chop Hill, the Korean Armistice Agreement was signed, ending hostiles. This one right here is for the Vietnam War, which lasted from 1964 to 1975. And it says, widely used was the Bell UH-1 helicopter dubbed the Huey, which could fly at low altitudes and speeds and land easily in small spaces. U.S. forces used the Huey to transport troops, supplies, and equipment, aid ground troops with additional firepower, and evacuated killed or wounded soldiers. This right here was from the Gulf War, which lasted from 1990 to 1991. And it says, in honor of our heroes in the Georgetown community who sacrificed for our freedom. This is for the War on Terror, which has been going on since 2001. And it has no end date yet. And it says, U.S. soldier scans the surrounding mountains of Iraq with his M14 rifle. And this over here says, in honor of those who served in our armed forces. And it says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And this says Georgetown County Veterans Memorial, so we never forget them and are ever grateful for the gift of liberty and freedom they secured for us all. The Georgetown County Veterans Memorial is dedicated to those all men and women from Georgetown and Georgetown County who answered when their community called, who gave of their time, their health, and some even their life, and who asked for nothing more than to be remembered for what they did. And it says this memorial was the result of a joint project of the Georgetown American Legion Post 114 and the Georgetown Veterans Foreign Wars Post 6444 with significant support and encouragement from the Georgetown Memorial Hospital. The memorial was envisioned by R.E. Hathaway, VFW Quartermaster, and M.J. Alfonsi, American Legion Post adjutant, who presented the plan to the respective memberships in the summer of 2011. A separate 501c3 organization raised community funds and broke ground in 2014. The memorial was completed and dedicated in December of 2016. Spanning time from the American Revolution to the War on Terror, the memorial is a stirring, silent salute to Georgetown County veterans and memorializes those who died in service to this country. The narrative text on the northwest face of the monument slabs were each written by local authors to describe how each conflict affected the Georgetown area. The names of on the southeast face of the monument slabs list those veterans who died during the particular conflict. The two largest slabs list American Legion and Veteran Foreign Wars members from their post-inception until 2016. Funded solely by public contributions and receiving no government assistance, the memorial still requires donations in order to provide continuing maintenance. The brochure below explains how you can honor a loved one while supporting the memorial. About fall over the parking lot, don't it? All right, so this says, for God and country, dedicated to the memory of those who made their supreme sacrifice and in honor of all who served their country in time of need. Georgetown County Veterans Memorial. And that says, sponsored by American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 62, and Veterans of Foreign Wars. And this says, what is a veteran? A veteran, whether active duty, retired, reserve, or National Guard, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount of up to and including his or her life. And it says, why honor a veteran? It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us the freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom to assemble. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the veteran who salutes the flag. It is the veteran who serves under the flag to be buried by the flag so the protester can burn the flag. Alright, so now I've moved over to the other side so I can read what's on the back sides of these things. So this one says, remember the fallen, in memory of Albert W. Sonny Ford Jr. of Georgetown, South Carolina. And he was a World War II Army Air Corps veteran. He served with Kelly's Cobras of the 494th Bomber Group in the Pacific Theater and attained this rank of Tech Sergeant. He received the Air Medal with 6 oak leaf clusters, the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Philippine Liberation Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Service Medal, and the Good Conduct Medal. This is the Revolutionary War. And it says, although Revolutionary War events in the Georgetown district were never at center stage, Georgetown's patriots from all classes of colonial society formed a core group of militia soldiers that fought against the British occupation throughout the American Revolution. The Georgetown region was at the heart of the military in the state, led by distinguished citizens such as Thomas Lynch Sr. and Jr., William Moultrie, William Alston, William Cattell, Peter, Daniel, and Hugh Horry, Thomas Mitchell, John and William Alston, Thomas Waits, and Adam McDonald. And it says one of the most dashing and charismatic leaders was Francis Marion. Marion grew up in the Georgetown district and knew the woods, rivers, and swamps of the Low Country. He learned guerrilla warfare tactics while serving as a lieutenant in the French and Indian War. With the outbreak of hostilities in South Carolina in 1775, Marion was made a captain in the 2nd Regiment and formed a 60-man brigade from the Georgetown district composed of small farmers who lived along the Black and Petey River and among the Scotch-Irish of the Black Mingo region. And I will be reading all day long right there. So I'm just gonna do that right there. And if you'd like to screenshot it, you can. And this one right here is from the World War II. And it says, Memories of World War II. Georgetown has always been a community established on a belief in God and love of country. These beliefs were ignited on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, when word came to our quiet town that Japan had launched a sneak attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Things changed, some quickly, some slowly. This was the Korean War, and it says during the Korean War, many of the young men of Georgetown were proudly serving on the front lines. The pages of the Georgetown Times were filled with the news of the sons, brothers, and husbands of Georgetown residents who were completing boot camp, being promoted, or moving to the front lines. And the Vietnam War, it says, in 1985, former President Richard Nixon spoke these words: "No event in American history is more misunderstood than the Vietnam War. It was misreported then and misremembered now. Rarely have so many people have been so wrong about so much, and never have the consequences of their misunderstanding been so tragic." And this is the Gulf War. And it says President George H.W. Bush led the effort to build a multi-nation coalition to force Saddam Hussein of Iraq to leave the tiny oil-rich country of Kuwait that his military had invaded and annexed. And the War on Terror, also known as the Global War on Terrorism, refers to the international military campaign that started after the September 11th attacks on the United States. The U.S. President George W. Bush first used the term War on Terror on the 20th of September 2001. It was originally used with a particular focus on countries associated with Islamic terrorism organizations, and including Al-Qaeda and like-minded organizations. And this side shows the supporters, and it says during the October 1944 meeting of the American Legion Post 114, the idea was formed to sponsor a hospital for Georgetown. Under the guidance of Post Commander Albert W. Ford, the Post began an unprecedented community campaign to fund the construction of a hospital in Georgetown County. Just over 5 years later, Georgetown County Memorial Hospital opened its doors in May 1950 in service to the people of our community. Today, the once small hospital has grown into the area's largest health system, caring for tens of thousands of people across the region each year. Here's the brochure I picked up. And it shows that you can inscribe a brick. And this shows how it looks lit up at nighttime. So that's going to wrap up this video from the Veterans Memorial in Georgetown, South Carolina. I'm actually glad we stopped. I've been coming by here for years, and I'm like, it's so pretty, but we never stopped by. But this is really nicely done. So if you're ever in Georgetown, I do suggest stopping by to see this for yourself. And you You can spend as much time as you like here. You can read all the stuff, the slabs, and then you can pick up a brochure and you can get a brick inscribed or whatever you would like, or you can just come here and reflect for a few minutes. But anyway, if you like the video, you can give it a thumbs up, you can share it, anything. I appreciate anything people do. So I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.